So I'm going to be moving to a place without air conditioning, and I try to figure out ways to get around that without having to actually buy air conditioning myself. Now one thing I'm going to buy is a fridge and a freezer, and the freezer part is particularly important because that way I'm able to have, like, this is a small bottle, and with this battery fan behind, let's say the power is out, I'm not only able to keep my fridge cool, but I can also keep myself cool. So this drastically increases the efficiency, because one thing is that it actually dehumidifies, as you see here. That's why you need this plate, so it pulls up, and then the cold water you can just put on yourself afterwards. And as it evaporates, insofar as you have a fan, you're actually going to be feeling quite comfortable. Now I use this when I'm in front of the computer as well. I often have it on the charger here, because that will emit a lot of heat, and so that heat does not get into the room. And meanwhile, this fan keeps cooling me and the computer down, for that matter. And I have bigger bottles, so like now in the evening it's actually quite cool, so I don't really need this. It's just for the comfort, so I brought this one out. During the day I use the slightly bigger bottles, and I have a 1.5 liter bottle, like a big Coke bottle, which I'm going to try out tonight when I fall asleep, and see if, because that one should actually hold for quite a while. This thing here, you see it melts, like the frost, it comes pretty quickly at first, but it doesn't take long. Like, it's been maybe a minute before I started filming, and now it's 3 minutes in. And after about 20 to 30 minutes, this bottle will have like only ice on the core. It will still cool down, but it will be noticeably less. Like now I have like a really nice cool breeze coming from it, but in about half an hour it won't be that much. So what I usually do then, I just change the bottle, because if you let it defrost completely, it will take quite a while for it to freeze. And by having multiple bottles, I can keep it kind of cool, and you're not actually you're not drawing that much more power from your freezer, because your freezer is maintaining like a temperature anyways. So unless you have like a bunch of warm bottles inside, it's not going to make much of a difference. You see water is actually, you might be seeing water is pooling up here at the bottom. Yeah, and then so this is 500 milliliters, so 750 milliliters will usually last a little bit longer, because I think the surface area is somewhat smaller compared to the volume, and so that's why I suspect that and also it's taller, so it still actually cools you more. Now this 1.5 liter bottle that I'm going to try tonight, it should actually last even longer, because it's quite thick, so it should have a cooling effect that is more than 3 times longer. Because the rule is, as far as I get it, you double the surface area, you quadruple the volume. So if I triple the volume, and I don't really get more than double the surface area, then it should actually be lasting more than 3 times longer. But that remains to be seen. You see, this thing is actually melting quite quickly. This has a lot to do with it being close to 30 centigrades, and yeah. So now it's starting to pool some water here. Eventually, when the water reaches like up to here, it condenses a decent amount of water. So that's yeah, it cools you longer. This one way longer than I should.